So how can we mimic a shallow water environment? Oh, well, fellas, you just roll onto your side towards me. Oh, lifting her, I'm supporting her in the position we've been practicing. Okay, let the boat fall on you, kick it away with your water leg and roll up. Same thing applies, they're not being threatened by having their head underwater. You can now speak to them. Right, my hand is just supporting her so her head is on the surface. That's all I'm doing, I'm not lifting. Okay, I'm standing really close, which in COVID times is probably not a good thing. We're in South Australia. Keep my head away. This isn't the start. You would have done everything else in the sequence. This is instead of being on the beach and then working your way into deep water, you've done everything else. This is where this begins. As the person gets more confident, you can then slowly start lowering them deeper into the water, which will be more like a full capsize. But it's at their kind of, yeah, I'm ready to go. As soon as a face goes underwater, life is not as much fun. People can play around with their face out of the water and really get a really sweet action without needing to go underwater. So again, you have control of the sequence. It's not like, right, capsize straight away, try and roll up. They're telling you when they're ready. And they might do this a few times, have a rest, come back to it. And we can tell them, so we need your shoulders flat on the water, leave the paddle back, shoulder level, let the boat fall on top of you, chin up, you're going to go underwater, in 1, 2, 3, roll up, to the surface. Okay? And then the final progression is for them to do a capsize in the Brooks ready to roll position in the setup. Then for them you to reach down, get their shoulder and float them before they roll. Are you happy to do those next two? First one is I'm fully in contact with the shoulder the whole time. We're going to go deep under the water, but I'm bringing you back to the surface and you don't do anything until I say roll. The last one is you capsize, I'm going to bring you back to the surface and then you roll. This is critical because you can't just start the roll as soon as your face gets wet, which is a classic error. People just go bang, straight into the roll and the kayak is still on the way down, so they're fighting the momentum of the kayak. You must allow yourself to float. Okay, so when you capsize, you've got to drill it into people. Okay, you've got to count to 3 minimum, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 when you've assumed the setup position. So you don't count until you're in the setup. You don't just start counting when your head hits the water. Okay? It's important with the Greenland stick and the Euro blade that the knuckles of the fingers are lining up with the leading edge of the blade. And when you're getting into the setup position, you roll your knuckles over so the paddle will be flat on the water. Come up. When you're in the setup position, you towards the sky.